A welcome collective to our end of days, and that's a DAZE. So, yeah, thank you for being here, beautiful soul. You made it, right? As usual, if you watch my footage normally, it's just one continuous stream. I don't have any editing software or anything, so if we have interruptions, I want to try to play through it. Might have to be in segments, so kind of it is what it is, you guys. Um, yeah, I made a video last night. I'm gonna try to upload both today. I do my best to uploads. Okay, um, my access to Wi-Fi, which is kind of really the only thing that I want to be able to like upload from, because gigabyte, 2 gigabytes for like a 10, 15, even 20-minute video. Sometimes more if I'm going over like half an hour. uh, I kind of need Wi-Fi for that. So um, I'll just leave it at that. Also, on the technical side, super windy where I'm at just about every day. Um, I don't know if you can see it, just like a little bit right here. Uh, After a little experimentation, I can kind of get the umbrella to protect from the wind. But the way that it's set up right now, I guess the ground's uneven or something, so I have to kind of lean what I'm using as the structure for the camera for the phone. So it's going to shake a bit. Nothing I can do about it. I tried a few different things, and I want it to stay upright. I got to lean it against the umbrella right now. So, like I said, it is what it is, you guys. Uh-oh. And even as I say that, I see it starting to go over. So, yeah. I don't really know what to talk about right now. I usually have like some kind of plan. I feel like I'm led to talk about certain things. It's just been kind of hard, you guys. Like last few days, especially, and I don't even want to say last few days. Like there's been stuff kind of, you know, um, weighing on me. I guess I've done a lot of work. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to keep adjusting it, you guys. It's crazy. It's like as soon as I start recording, right, that's when the huge gusts start to arrive. And so, like I said, it is what it is, you guys. Just kind of going forward. Like I love the spiritual talks. Like don't get me wrong, I love those, you guys. But spiritual talks can be many different things. And one of the things that I really want to get out there is this idea of perfection and how we almost need to get rid of it. And as I like to say on my channel too, everything's my opinion here. All right, this is just my point of view. Even if I'm saying this is the way that it is, or we need to do this, I'm really saying this is my perspective, my opinion of what we need to do. All right, either individually or collectively. So just take that as you will. This is my way of taking responsibility for what's mine. All right, and also. The way that I operate, at least, is through resonance and then confirmation. Like, for the most part, especially when it comes to spiritual or, I don't know what to call it. Like, I would call it almost a scientific because reality surfing, if you know, you know, right? But co creation with God is something that is. To me, it's a relationship with God. All right, it's a one-on-one relationship. It's you and God. All right, it's me and God, and so it's very individualized, and that's all I can do is kind of share with others. With you in this particular case, what I've gone through. What I've experienced, and the people that I tend to resonate the most with kind of have a similar perspective, where it's just like, well, this is what I've experienced. If you like it, take it. If you don't, leave it behind. And I agree with that. Like, and people of that attitude, because I would say it's a vibration attitude more than just words. All right, as I like to say on my channel too, it's not just the words that we use; it's the intent that we're using when we say those words, and the vibration that we're coming from and aiming for. It's similar. Sometimes what we're aiming for is also where we're in. And again, if you know, you know. So, excuse me. Um, yeah, I don't. I think I'm just kind of purging still. Um, oh, and so kind of related to what I was talking about, like directly before. This idea of perfection, you guys, like editing out coughs, editing out some of the stuttering I have sometimes, or things that happen. At least for me, where I'm at right now, I don't want to do that. Like, even if I had the capability to be able to do that, I wouldn't. And a large part of it is because of AI stuff. At this point, I really want to keep my videos authentic. All right, it is so important, especially in this time frame. All right, where we can edit out those things to be authentic, to be yourself. All right, because it is so it is increasingly easier and easier to get lost in this image. And I'm sorry, it keeps tipping. I keep seeing it tip too. It's increasingly easier to get lost in this image of perfection, or what we think of as perfection. And in the process, we lose our authenticity. We lose, I would say, the connection with the present moment. And that's all we have, you guys. Then we start projecting what we think other people want to see, and then it just gets so freaking messy. That gets so messy. And a lot of the times, whatever you want to call it, the matrix, situations, will even prop that up. It will give you a taste of that kind of success. But what I've seen from accounts of other people, and to uh, not necessarily internet fame, but within worldly fame, it, it it's hollow. It's hollow. The kind of success that people get from that, from again, from my perspective and what I've experienced, is hollow. And so it's something I'm not concerned with. I don't want that for me. I don't want to be around other people who are very much, tied into that kind of a lifestyle, that behavior, those patterns. And so, it is what it is. It is what it is. No judgment. All right, people want to go for that. They totally can. We're probably not going to cross paths. Is kind of the way that I see it. And if you happen to be crossing my path, or vice versa, you know, right? Let's learn from each other. All right. Sometimes, what I've seen, at least in my life too, when I've moved away from certain patterns that don't serve me, I might encounter people who are very much deeply in those patterns. And I hope that my presence is an invitation for them to uh, explore different avenues, especially if they're unhappy. If they're content or happy in that living that way, you go for it. You're like, who am I to judge, man? It's not my life. This is my life. All right, as an individual. And the way that I see it from my perspective is, man, like it's a barometer for me to see where I've come from and how far I've gone. And I would, offer that to you as well. Where if you, I wouldn't say necessarily attract, but maybe run into individuals who remind you of where you came from. It's not the universe or God, necessarily saying that you haven't gotten anywhere. Like, this is the kind of person you are still. It's more along the lines of, it's like a celebration where it's just like, look at where you came from. Like, look at where this individual is. Look at where you are, and to have love for these people. All right, so a detached kind of a love sometimes. Like, and this is for me, agape love means having a love for everybody and everything. All right, whatever they're going through, and this unconditional type of love comes in many different forms. All right. Uh, as I've said on my channel, like the last few videos, really, I'm talking about enablers and the enabling energy. When we're walking away from that kind of an energy, from that pattern, this agape love is going to look different. All right. And it's going to be like I just said in my last video here, it's going to be more neutral. It's going to be like, okay, you're going through your thing, I'm going through my thing. I wish you luck. Have a nice life. And I'm not going to take responsibility for your projections, what you're telling me like that I am necessarily. Uh, and in my personal thing, it's because I've taken that on in the past. All right, and I think the sensitive types of souls out there, maybe you're one of them. All right, but just and you get what I'm saying here. We take those things on, and if someone says, "Well, you're this," it's really important to be grounded in our own energy, in our own body, in our own individualized self. All right, so important, so that we know, wow, this isn't my energy. This person is completely projecting on me. They're vomiting onto me what they don't want to look at in themselves, and they're at where they're at. In a lot of ways, I used to be the same. That's what I mean. No judgment there. Um, but and at the same time, I'm done with that. All right, people gonna vomit at me. Their projections, their suppressed selves. Cool. Good luck with that, you guys. Like, if you're willing to get better, if you're willing to look at yourself and go through the work, wonderful. All right, then we can be friends. We can team this together. But you have to be willing. All right. If you're not willing, you want to keep going in that direction because it is a direction. All right. The way that I see it, the way that it's presented to me. If you want to keep going off kilter into, and I see it as off kilter, but it's just like if you want to go into like a vibration that's away from God, all right, go for it. We're allowed to, as individuals, as souls, we're allowed to explore whatever we choose, all right? And if people want to choose to go off in that direction, sweet, I did too, whether it was inadvertent, unconscious, or conscious, can be a little bit of a quandary. But where I'm at right now and where I'm at consciously choosing, the way I see it, we only stray from God when we're unconscious, all right? When we're put into situations which are essentially traumatic. And those traumatic patterns, like where they came from, that's a long story, all right? Because that's what it is. It's a story, all right? And as I also like to say on my channel, this power of story and why it's so important for us to become the authors of our own story, of our own personal story. And then also how we interpret, data, how we interpret the things which happen to us, and our own lives, our own backgrounds, where we come from, familial wise. So yeah, so kind of going back on track here, man. I'm already at 13:11, man. Dang. But yeah, that was a good segment there. If I'm gonna kind of rein this in, yeah, guys. So like a lot of days, I'm going through it, and um, I know, like I said, I've done a lot of work. All right, I'm a very authentic individual. I don't compare myself with other people per se. I just know that I'm more authentic than I've ever been in my life. All right. One of the things that I like to frame it as, in this game of life, if you're going to call it a game, we're playing golf. All right. We're not playing against anybody else. We're playing against the course and we're playing against ourselves. All right. And the way I play golf, at least, is I'm not even playing again. Like, maybe I'll compare a little bit, see, like, oh man, I'm having a great day today, or man, I'm not having a great day today. Uh, Generally, I notice improvement in my game. All right. And so that helps me feel like, hey, yeah, I'm making movement forward. Things are great. And when I have bad days, where I'm not shooting necessarily as high as I normally do, I give myself grace, or truthfully, I allow myself grace. All right. I allow it to flow through me because it comes from God, you guys. Like whenever I talk about self-love or giving yourself grace or anything, I'm really saying be open to this omnipresent, all-powerful God, all right, who is completely for us, to come through us, because that is the big headbutting discrepancy that I see, as I've talked about on my channel, wounded masculine, wounded feminine, traumatic behavior patterns, all of those things that we're healing. All right, man, it's getting windy. Um, we've shut ourselves off from God's grace, all right, from God's love for us. And then it has to come through these different channels and these different ways. And it doesn't have to. It can just be direct, all right? It can be like, I don't know if you heard that, but just like little room is a confirmation in the background there. Um, and this direct channel is what's available to us all, you know, and that's what I'm aiming for, definitely for my life, and then to help be an example for other people to do the same in their lives. All right. And so, regardless of whatever happens in the future, whether I become some kind of leader or guru or I'm a teacher in some capacity, it is for people to reach God in their own way. All right. It is not to condemn people for their path. It is not to say my way is the best way. All right. Which goes even further too. If other people need to have their connection with God not be a personal relationship, have it come through a community, sweet. Good on you guys. Um, I do would love a community, all right, to have be able to participate in that I feel like I belong to. But for me, at least, this community that I would really give myself unto fully would be a community that is identical in this particular way, where it's just like, hey, I'm responsible for my own crap, right? My monkeys and my circus, and I'm not going to project it onto you or you or you. I'm not going to project it onto the group. I might even bring it forward to the group, so the group can love me, so the group can see me, so the group can hold me, and then help bring me to the truth. Like, to me, this is what the Christian community is supposed to be about, all right? The true Christian community, all right? And right now it's kind of fractured. The Christian community is what I would call it. And as I mentioned on, the other channels too, a lot of Christianity has become idol worship, if you ask me. And so it's like testing the waters, seeing different churches, just going through this process. And also finding which version of the Bible to freaking pick up on. I mean, craziness. There's so many different versions. At least like now, I'm getting ads when I'm watching YouTube for the Ethiopian Bible. And did people like? And I'm not saying I even subscribe to the Ethiopian Bible. There's even other versions that have even more included books that were excluded from the Bible. All right, but we're starting to see that the Bible that we have been told is the Word of God had books and chapters and passages which were censored, which were taken out. All right. And do you think God censored those? I'm just posing a question. It's even rhetorical. People could answer either way. My interpretation is no. A man. All right. Men. All right. Individual personalities, egos, if you will, are the ones who censored that material. And take it as you will. All right. I like passages in the Bible for sure, man. I love some passages in the Bible where they really speak to wisdom that is beyond what someone can just say sometimes. Like one of the favorite passages that I have, and I can't quote where it comes from. All right, but by ye fruits you shall know them. All right, what does that mean? To me, it means how is this person living? All right, so and to the nth degree, like because I would say someone who's really skilled, let's say in a skill, right? And maybe I'm just like middle age style, but it's just like, let's say someone's really good at blacksmithing. All right, I'm gonna listen to this blacksmith. All right, he's a well versed blacksmith, top of the trade. Totally, I'm gonna listen to this individual who's an awesome blacksmith when I want to learn more blacksmithing. All right, by his fruits of his abilities and his capabilities at blacksmithing, sweet. That's what I wanted. That's someone I'm going to listen to. Now, I call them charlatans, all right, but a lot of the times you get people who have a silver tongue, man, and they present a good case and they act like they know what they're talking about. But a lot of the times, by if you shall know them, this person can start a business of selling the image that they are successful. All right, and this is also why I'm super glad. If you know on my channel too, I'm homeless right now. All right, it's something that I'm dealing with. A large part of it is because I had to go through this, you guys. Like I had to. I don't know how else to explain it. I'll do my best to explain it maybe in other videos. We're already getting up there, man. 2028 when I looked at the clock. Um, but yeah, and this is also what I mean by the image of perfection. All right, a lot of people might hide that if I'm trying to become a YouTuber, or whatever I'm doing here. Um, oh, I don't want to say I'm homeless. I don't want to say I'm going through these things because it shows weakness. And who's going to listen to some random homeless dude? Well, I would. If what they're saying resonates with me, if their energy is showing like a pattern that I identify with and that I want to also is either as confirmation or something that I want to get closer in touch with, sweet. And that's my premise is authenticity, you guys, and how being our authentic selves frees us. Even when it isn't necessarily all shiny and polished and smiles, okay? Like I didn't have a camera during my really darkest times, and maybe I should have, shot footage, or had something available to me during those times. Maybe it was just supposed to be between me and God too, and I offer that as well, because I'm not looking to capitalize on my vulnerable moments just to get recognition, clout, money, those kind of things. My intention, if I ever do that, is to be like, hey guys, we all have weak moments. We all go through certain things, and I'm just showing it to show you courage to be yourself. All right, like because a lot of this for me, just showing myself, just having these talks is a vulnerable moment for me. Like I can get in the moment in the flow state where it's just like, yeah, it's coming out and everything's all rainbows and buttercups at that moment. But a lot of times, it's courage, man. It is this I'll get into that on another video, but just like it is the state of walking through fear. Like that is what courage is. It's not denying fear. It's not being fearless. It's feeling that fear and knowing that, or just having faith. Because it might not even be knowing, you guys. It's just like shit. I can't stay here anymore. Me being limited behind this fear has gotten to a point where I would rather die than continue to live in this fear. And a lot of the times, at least for me, that has been that case where it's just like, all right, well, if I'm at that point, might as well go through it. Might as well do what I did was afraid of. And part of that was homelessness for me. Um, Another part is authenticity for me because I felt it and I knew that authenticity is just so important during these times. And I'm just and I would get into such a rotten state watching fake people. Oh my gosh, And I know people are at where they're at, to some degree. I've been there too, you guys. Like, and I think one of my most inauthentic states was like being a hater. Like, if I'm going to be honest, and even what it was really showing me was I just don't want that in my life. I don't have to hate this individual. I don't have to hate what they're doing. I don't like I can hate the pattern and I can see that all right, this pattern is something I hate because I don't want it to come through me and I don't want it to be part of my experience. It's going to exist. I can't eliminate this pattern, all right, but as an individual, I get to tune my frequency. I get to tune my subconscious. I get to tune my own relationship with God however I choose to. However, whatever I focus on. And I'm just going to keep saying this in many different ways because there's many different ways to say it, you guys. Um, and so, yeah, what's the time? 24:44, man. I keep seeing those numbers, guys. Um, yeah, so maybe we'll leave it there. but just sometimes things aren't perfect, you guys. Like I'm still pretty tired. Um, you know, I sometimes show you sometimes, but like with my twirling stick, this is my lightweight one, and but I was doing my heavyweight one like 3 hours yesterday, and it was so much fun. But now I don't know if you can see the band-aid, but tore my skin. My hands are pretty sore right now, so I might give it a rest today, which is hard, but I'm doing my best to slow down, because taking it easy, man. That's what I say for parting for a lot of times. Hey, man, take it easy, just like go easy on yourself, go easy on myself, if we're coming from the intent, if we're aiming, if we're doing the work, why stress yourself out, man? Like if anything, that's the kind of fakery, the kind of pressure that, at least in my opinion, right, arises from having an inauthentic relationship with God, from having something idols placed before God. Like, because I would offer just like, do you think God wants you stressed out? Do you think God wants you in these horrible circumstances, or to hate yourself, or to go be feeling stressed out all the time, like our Western society seems to be, like almost 99% of the time, which I would say is wounded masculine, if you ask me, along with wounded feminine. But that's a whole nother story. No, all right, I say that no. Like God does not intend that for us. God intends to prosper us. Okay, like, and I stand behind that. I stand fully behind that. Or in this case, I'm sitting behind it because I'm sitting at the moment. Um, so yeah, um, that's just my offer for today. Is let's take it easy, you guys. If we're doing the work, if we have that intent to truly connect, good on you. Good on you. Allow the grace to come through us. All right, allow this love and this support to come through us. Okay, and sometimes it's just taking a step back and allowing things to be. And that's my experience of it. That's it is, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so we'll leave it at there. We'll leave it at there for today. Uh, so God bless. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me, for being part of my journey. As I'm a part of yours, right? So, and I feel like I got to explain. What are we at? 27. I feel like I got to explain it every time, just until it becomes a little more known. But just like I leave with see you on the flip side, right? I'll catch you on the flip side, just like you'll catch me on the flip side, right? And the flip side is my view of things in this world. This world has been upside down, you guys. The unflipped side has been this traumatic, wounded creation that doesn't have to be that way. Like this earth doesn't have to be this traumatic as it's been for us. And the only way to get through this is to go through it. All right. Like this is what I mean when I say doing the work. All right. By doing the work, by directing our attention and our energy toward God. All right. Which is truth, which is love. All right. Just like it is masculine, it is feminine. Yes, okay. It is not one or the other. All right. And I'm like I said, I'm sticking with this. Okay, this has been very successful in my life. Believe it or not, I have so much peace, and even being homeless and in circumstances. All right, there's been so much that I've gone through that I'm not going to get into with limited time. I don't want to extend this video any longer than it already is. But anyway, what I'm saying with this is the flip side is the side of God. All right, is turning toward God once again. All right, it's turning things right side up because everything's been upside down, in my opinion. So that's what I mean by that. All right, just got to explain it. So yeah, you guys, thank you. Thanks for being here with me. So peace out, love within. I'll catch you on the flip side as you catch me.